Hey guys, this week we use a Dodge Dakota to build an entire rear custom quarter for our 1971 Travelall. Hey guys, and welcome back to Alchemy Motorsports, where we're taking a 1971 Travelall and slapping it on top of the floor pan and frame of a 2003 Tahoe. In the last few episodes, we've been taking pieces out of a 1991-92 Dakota and fixing a lot of the rust damage that we had on the Travelall with that. Travelall parts are a little bit harder to come by, and I really like the flare that you get out of the wheel arch from a Dakota. So that's what we've been working on. We need to finish welding in the Dakota wheel arch here on the driver's side of the Travelall. And then we're going to see how far we can get building the quarter panel repair on the Travelall as well. Now, in a previous episode where I did this same work over here on the passenger side, I explained why I'm actually changing the entire profile of the rear quarter. Visually, I just don't like the way that they did it originally from International. So I'll throw a link up above over to that video explaining why I'm actually going to change the entire side profile of the back of the Travelall. Getting attacked by flies here. So the goal this week is to see just how far we can get on finishing the wheel arch and then adding in the quarter panel patch. I'll also throw a video up above here now for just our last video. During the last video, we got that wheel arch started, so you can check that out if you missed it up above. Remember guys, as you're watching the video, if you're enjoying it, having fun with the sheet metal shenanigans, please do me a favor, hit that thumbs up, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Anyway guys, I've got hours worth of welding and grinding to look forward to, so I'm just going to go ahead and tuck into that. That may not be metal finished file fit flat, but that's pretty freaking flat. Yeah, and it looks pretty good from here too. Alright, I think that puts us in a good enough position to start getting this thing welded in. Did a little bit more tacking here, finished cleaning up that corner, and then I welded up the whole backside of this seam, which from the last video you might recall me discussing that I needed to weld this patch to this patch. I welded it first from the front, but it wasn't that great, so I went in and welded everything from behind. So once I get that ground back, it should be pretty good. But yeah, I am very happy with that result. That is way better than what I got the first time. Alright, we've got the grinding pretty much done, except for right there, which I'm not going to worry about until I build that whole quarter that's going to go in there. But otherwise, we have got terrible lighting, and that didn't help any. Alright, hold on, I got to shut off these lights. Alright, so we've got this all ground back, and it's looking pretty darn good. There's definitely a few spots, you know, that's an actual pinhole, that's a pinhole. So there's spots that still need a bit of work on here, but overall I am super happy with how that turned out, as well as this edge here. All looks pretty good, though I need to round it over a bit. It's pretty sharp right there, actually. I didn't finish rounding it down there. But there's a whole lot of grinding to be done in there. You saw I was doing a lot of hammering as I was putting that together. And this is pretty good, but there's definitely light showing along here. You can see that, where there is not back over here. I've already hammered this back forwards a little bit, but it definitely needs some more work. And then down here farther across the corner of that, again, there's actually a pretty good dent right there in that corner. It's sucked in, so we'll have to get on that. But as I was going, part of what you didn't see me doing is I started using a slapper, because I would have these areas where it was caved in where I had welded. And this is the first real use of a slapper I've made, but holding the dolly behind and then tapping the metal with this would bring those out level to where I could grind them off cleaner and not overgrind the surrounding metal. And then I'd been using the hammer as well, and that had created little pinpoint divots. And using this all the way across it with the dolly behind it, I was able to smooth a lot of that. Like, I'm actually really, really surprised how smooth this is. It's not, you know, it's not Coach Builder, but it might be the best I've ever done. So, anyway, I'm pretty happy with it, despite those curves that I've got to knock out of it. You can see that, you know, you can kind of see that curve in there. But overall, I am really happy with how this one went, which is awesome, because I'm going to see the driver's side a lot more than I ever see the passenger side. So I'm glad this one went well. All right, we've got some hammering, some shaping to do. Try and knock all of this stuff back forward a little bit. And then we're going to grind that corner. And with those done, maybe it'll be time to start the rear quarter patch panels. See how that goes. So I am going to attempt to push some of that curve back out. I'm going to see if I can do it with this thing. It hits more surface area at once. So, pound on it, jump out, check it. We'll see how this goes. Alright, so I want to find all the pinholes along here. So we're going to kill that light. And just run a flashlight behind here. I welded this corner from the front. I think I need to get in there and weld it from the back just to really fill in that fillet. Very nearly every time I go back and do this touch-up kind of welding, I discover I've overground the metal and now I just blow holes where there's a tiny hole, I blow a huge one, and then I have to backfill all that. This time, that didn't happen, which means I didn't do a major overgrind on the metal. Hi, kitty. So now I've just got to get those ground back, and we're ready to move on, I think. Oh, just kidding. I have a ton of grinding to do in this corner, and I actually need to back weld the entire inside of that seam, I think. So yeah, there's still a crap load to do on this panel. Really getting into this corner is a nightmare, so I'm going to try and do it with this die grinder tip. Yeah, this corner looks like total crap. I'm not sure what I have tool-wise to do anything about that. So I'm just going to keep fighting with this thing. I'll bring you guys back when I've figured it out. Well, that went a little more like my projects normally do. As in, I overground the metal, and now it's paper thin. So I was able to get a Dremel and the carbide bit down in there, and really get it ground down into a nice clean corner, more or less. It's good enough for what we need. But while doing so, the thing was skipping around so much, I cut through this, and I made this so paper thin when I poked it with a screwdriver, I stabbed right through it. So I'm not going to do anything more with those. If I keep trying, I'm just going to make it worse. Later on, I plan on taking the tire off anyway, which will give me better access into that back corner to do a few other things. So at that point, I'm going to weld those from behind, so there's not a lot of welding to be done on, or grinding to be done on the front. And then I'll come back, clean those up, and yeah, we'll have it fixed. So anyway, we're going to call that corner there done, and we're going to go ahead and move on. I will show you guys real quick the other thing I was working on, which was cleaning up this door jamb. And you know, the door fitment isn't great or anything, but I am pretty happy with the overall shape of the jamb. It's pretty consistent, so it might have been crap from the factory, but at least my crap is, you know, the same quality. Alright, so we've got the Travelall back out here in the driveway, again, so I can see both sides. I can take references from the far side to figure out this next panel. So, off camera, I took a bit more Dakota metal. And I made up a panel. And this is just some more of the unused Dakota bedside, where I cut these from. And marked this line that I'm going to have to put a bend in this. These are 2 panels because I didn't have any chunks big enough. I just semi-seamed them together, just tacked them together so that I can make this bend, and then I will weld it after the bend is in place. I think that will work out better. And now I just have a lot of shaping I have to do to really get this thing to fit. I've got some really hard character lines right here where the bumper fits in. On the other side, it's got a round contour here, which then tapers back into these folds back here. Sort of tapers across all of that. So I have to recreate that as I build this. And I think that could move this line because this panel has to fold in and then back out. So I think first I need to get a lot of the fitting done here so that it fits in there pretty well, which also means I need to trim this panel back some because it's a little bit longer than I actually want it to be. So we're going to get it fitted so that it fits pretty smoothly along there and transitions out to the shape over here. Then I will double check this line and then we'll get this bent up in order to get this all fitted. Not quite perfect yet. We've got to pull that up some to get those angles right. And then that'll be smooth. I think that's pretty good. In here, I can push together all right, but under there, the curve is a little bit weird, so I need to flatten this part of it. And then I've decided I need to take this much off. This is really where the Travelall starts to curve and taper a little bit tighter. I'm going to take all of that off so I don't have to fight that. But you can see it's not quite there, but a lot of that will be fixed just by removing some of this. So this panel seems to be coming together relatively quickly. Pretty happy with the way it's progressing. You ever do things and then afterward realize you're a complete idiot? There's my Cleco clamp holes. If I had clamped it up and then drilled new holes below the line I was doing, this would have been easy. Now I have to try and hold it up and juggle it and get it in the right place again. We've got that all fully welded now. Even the various little holes along the way for the clecos and stuff, all welded. Sitting here, I can see there's going to be a lot of pinholes between welds that I have to fill, but, you know, that's whatever. The big problem, though, is right here. This extra triangle I had to weld on, the seam between the way these two shapes go and this one goes, there is just a huge divot right here. I'm going to try hammering this out. First, I'm going to grind down this section of welds here. I'm going to try hammering it out, but it's really possible I'm going to have to cut here and here at the very least, so possibly a T, possibly a bit of this angle, and redo all of that to get this shape to flow correctly. So I'm going to start working on that. I'll be the first to admit, I don't know a blasted thing about using one of these properly. Not really. All I know is it hits a bunch of area at once compared to a hammer. And that if I get behind these things and knock them forward, I can knock them forward too much to the point where they're, like, not good. And then I can just get in there with that slapper, and I can slap them all down. And they end up feeling pretty nice. They aren't perfect, and I know that, but man, they end up so much better than a lot of the work I've done. That's part of what's made all of this work so well for me. I mean, even this triangle, you know, you can see the full outline of it. It's not the prettiest, but it worked just fine. I didn't lose anything. I didn't create huge uncontrollable warps or anything, so I'm pretty alright with that. Now I just got to get the rest of this crap ground back. But I don't think I'm going to have you guys stick around for that. So we've finished most of the grinding along here. There's still a little bit of hammer shaping to be done just to, this, I can feel there's a divot in here. You can see a couple of low spots here that will need a bit more work. But overall, it's really pretty good. I'm pretty happy with how it all turned out. Let's take a look at the shape of everything. So you can see it goes from kind of this just curved shape and rolls back into having that recurve there. So with that done, this corner is our next problem. There wasn't anywhere near this kind of damage on the other side. But on this side, we are going to have to take care of that. So we got a lot done in that episode. Started with finishing the install on that rear fender flare all the way through the fabrication and installation of that quarter panel patch. So that is a lot to get done in one episode, and I'm really happy with the progress. Next up, trying to figure out how to do a cab corner. We'll take a look at that next episode. Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it. Catch you next time.